Hello, I am sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm going to share my screen and continue our play lecture. 1 second. There. Apologies for that. Technology is wonderful when it works. Okay, so continuing on our role playing. So you see in the third video or the third picture that there is a small group of children. You kind of see the sleeve on from the child on the left, and then there's a child on the right, and there's a child in the middle. You will see this a lot in play. Typically, there's a child that is a leader that is demonstrating what to do, and the other children are observing and taking in this information. That's very typical. And those are great role playing models because they're learning and they're watching. And whether your child is just leading in that moment, it gives children the opportunity to mimic and try things themselves, even if it's not in that moment and they're not taking turns right at that moment. They're going to try it later if it's really exciting and they're going to see the success in the play. And that's what we do for each other. We role model, not just from old to young, but also from peer to peer. So that was really great. But I wanted to show you. This is from my favorite person. Play is often talked about as if it were serious relief from learning. So this is really important, right? We do need a serious relief from learning, but not from learning and not from everything from life. We need a release from those difficult situations. Play gives us the opportunity to not not relinquish the activity, but to take some seriousness away because the serious can be a stressor. And we want the play element of the activity to bring in that relief for learning, right? So typically learning is a stressful thing for students. It can be stressful at any age. If you're not motivated and you're the fun type, things need to be motivating and exciting. And if they're not, it's going to be a stressful, serious situation. So that relief from learning is play, right? We can still learn. We can still learn and play from play. We can still learn during play. So I thought that was really important to share with you guys. For children, play is learning. But I think for all of us, this is a really big clue. It could continue to be learning. We can continue to learn through play. Not all learning has to be so serious, right? Yeah, there are serious topics that we have to know, like, you got to take math in college. You can't go through it, and it's not fun. It's not stressful, but there are a lot of creative ways and tangible ways that we can get our students through math or whatever experience it is. So really, really just think about that when you have a lesson that you are seeing that your students are really struggling with. Get creative, get those tangible things out there, make it an element of play so that they can process through that information that much better. That's what makes us great educators, whether we're in a classroom, whether we're providing therapy, whatever role you are providing a purposeful learning experience for children and adults and teenagers to process, grasp, and hold on to. Play is really the work of childhood. So if you are ever having a hard day at work, use the children in your life or the experiences of play that you have had that have made you really happy or that you just were really fond of. Use that as a tool to bring you back to developing a creative way to get a project done, maybe, or engage with a child better. That is what this is all about, is to practice play ourselves to help us engage with people in our lives better. My kids are having a stressful week. We take a break and we play a game of something. Even if they don't know that it's a game, we're doing something play, whether it's a cooking activity or something. I am getting them to laugh, to release, and to move on so that they have a brain break. they've gotten those endorphins, and then they can cope through it, regulate, and move on to the activity that they need to get through. Ages of play. Typically, when you are young, you are playing with dirt. Anything can become play, right? The sky, the air, the wind, the dirt, the water, the mud, the whatever it is. Putty is something that we typically play with. Play-Doh at a very young age. This is also something that neurodivergency, it's a great tool, but if you have a very tactile oral client, then this is going to be something that you're going to want to just be aware of. For example, I have a very oral client currently, and we don't use putty. We don't use Play-Doh. We have other things that we can use to get those sensory needs met. But it's not something that I would normally use with this particular client. So just be aware of your age. Is it appropriate? Is it toxic? There are Play-Dohs out there that you can make in case they are ingested. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. Okay, moving on to the ages. Maybe your child isn't early childhood. Maybe they are kindergarten or primary age. What's really cool at that age is Pokemon cards. Baseball cards kind of come in and out of the different generations, but Pokemon cards have seemed to be something that have really stuck, especially with the particular age between like kindergarten and second grade. There are a lot of different things. These are just a few examples. If your client likes Pokemon cards, get to know a couple characters. All you have to do is have them present, and they can even teach you how to play. It's just something to connect with them. And this is an approach and knowing the play age, right? Electronics. I had a client one time who didn't really have a lot of interests in anything, didn't really have a lot of preferred items other than electronics. So we really dove into those. Walkie-talkies. This client was primary age, but a little bit on the older side of the primary age. So between like third and fifth grade, they become really aware of electronics, right? The Dot, the Echo, Alexa, all those things that maybe aren't appropriate in a therapy session, but walkie-talkies, that was something that we used when the client would elope, and it would bring him back to something that he was interested in. So you kind of have to be creative, think what's exciting in play, and a preference from your client or your students. Dolls can still really be in the age, in multiple different ages of play. Of course they are, especially like when children are young. Both genders love baby dolls, Barbies, puppets, stuffed animals, you name it. So depending on the age, find that doll type, whether maybe it's a stuffed animal, maybe it's a Beanie Baby, maybe it's a dragon. You've got multiple options. You can always find that doll like, and the same thing with puppets. You can always find a puppet like feature for a different age, especially for those neurodivergent children. Just get creative, make one out of a sock. As long as something's talking and you're getting their attention, it's going to be a win-win. So those are just some very, very few examples. For adults, anything could be play. Like I love to do these glitter bottles for my adult clients and training. This is a dark one. Let me do a lighter one. Glitter, right? What a stress reliever. And it kind of brings us back to those sensory bottles, something that I can put on my desk that I'm shaking and fiddling with and fidgeting. And oh my gosh, I love watching glitter, and it's just very soothing. So a lot of playful tools and objects can be very tangible ways for us to calm down, cope, and feel good and happy. Other ages of play for adults would be scavenger hunts. Get your team on a scavenger hunt. Leave them a little note. I have post-it notes. I love to leave post-it notes of affirmations for different teachers when I was a manager. So just get creative. Learn the age that you're, whether it's even teenagers love post-it notes too. If there's a window, this is a really fun one, a window or a mirror for your teenagers and your adults, a little bit of a playful approach would be to write a message on there. It could be a permanent marker because that comes off with alcohol, or it could be an erase marker. You could have a conversation. write a question or a note, leave the marker on with the little Velcro on the window and have them answer it. You're having a conversation, you're interacting, but it's not taking away from their day, or they have, you're not getting their needing their attention and taking away their attention from what they need to get done right at that moment. So just a playful way to like connect and um, just have fun, just really have fun, bond with your team. Oh, so I really wanted to make this is a really great point. I don't know if you have any littles in your life that have had any hospital visits, serious illnesses. This is something that I've always known about, but especially with my youngest son, he has an autoimmune disease, and we've had lots of experiences at Rady's Children's Hospital. And they are so great about engaging play with their patients. If a child is going into an operation, they are, the nurse or the doctor there that has been coming in and giving them, care, taking their vitals, talking to their parents. There's someone there, whether it is that person, the doctor, the nurse, or another interventionalist, playing cars on the bed, getting them ready, putting them in a good state of endorphins for their surgery. Right before the surgery, this happens. It happens during taking vitals and taking care of them throughout sporadic times of the day. They have mental health animals, dogs that come in. You can see in this picture that they're driving a car in the middle of a hospital. A hospital is a very serious place, right? We do very serious work there. And they're taking the time to create this play experience, because what do we get out of play? We get laughter, and laughter is medicine. And this helps our bodies to produce endorphins and to be in a good mood. What a great way to get a patient ready to go into major surgery, right? So there's scientific proof that laughter is medicine. And if Rady's children's and doctors are doing this on a continuous basis, we know that this is important, and we need to hone in on this. Play is engaging, is important for all ages. What kind of state do you think that doctor's in, right? Yes, they're going to be serious. They're going to be in a good mood, and those endorphins are going to take away that stress so that they can focus on the real job at hand. So, how to apply play. I love to go over voice, tone, and body language, right? We can always help a child, whether it's gluing, like you can see in this picture, but we can really like enhance that with our tone. We can make it exciting. We can change our voice. We can laugh with them. We can move our bodies with them. We're excited. We're not stark and nervous and like, don't do that. Don't do this. We want to be open. Children do feed off of our energy. They're very intuitive, and our body sends a message. Our energy sends a message. Our intention sends a message, and our body language tells them the story of what they can be comfortable with. Are they going to make a mess? Yes. Am I going to get upset? No. My body language is going to tell them it's okay to make a mess. That's how we learn. All the glue might fall out of the glue bottle. One dot, 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 not a lot. That's what we teach them. But it's a process of repetition that they're going to learn that lesson, and not us being stressed out and creating boundaries to isolate their play and their experience. We want to share the space. You see that she's really close with them. She's not up here hovering over them, watching them. She is down on their level. She is helping them. She is modeling along with them. She's not taking their hand away. They're doing it together. That's just a really great space to be in. Anyone can play, but can you play to use it to the advantage of supporting a developing child or a developing adult? And I think this is really important because, of course, we want our employees to take their job seriously, but there is an opportunity for play. And play isn't neglecting our tasks. It's not neglecting the people in our environment just to have fun, right? We have to be able to incorporate our task, problem solving, what we need to do. We have to be able to engage and manage all of the people that we're supervising or working and collaborating with. This is why play is important to practice, so that we can implement it and not let play take over, where we're now letting play take over and we're not getting our tasks done, or we're not supervising and managing for that safety element, right? So that's something that we really want to practice so that we know as an adult and as we go along and create these developing environments of play that we are maintaining and teaching the safety elements that need to happen and responsibility and the respect and the trust that we still need to get those jobs done through the elements of play. Misconceptions of sharing and not sharing situations during play. So I just wanted to touch upon this because the sharing, and I'm going to do it really quickly because I have other videos that like really go into this, but the grabbing, boundaries, the wanting and autonomy. Okay, so when a child grabs, right, that is a grabbing that they want, I see, it's mine, I want it, it's mine. We can teach playful boundaries around that, or we can teach the boundaries in a playful way, right? We don't have to be upset. We don't have to discipline. We don't have to lecture. We don't have to say, we can do it in a playful way. Look at my playful voice, tone, and intonation is going to teach them to like, oh, you really want that toy. That toy was in your friend's hand. She still has it. We can wait our turn. We can ask our friend. So you're using a playful element of your voice and your tone and intonation to narrate what they want, what they are not going to get. It's okay to not get something. It's not a despair set of state, right? So we're not in a state of despair. We are working through setting boundaries. That is in your friend's hand. We do not take things out of our friend's hands. That is just a autonomous rule that we can teach for ourselves and others. And once you start to do that, they'll start to hone in on that role. They might even see another peer go, oh, she took that and that was in someone's hands. Two friends could have wanted something and it was on a table, and it's totally a different situation for them to both grab it than if